to begin our panel session with Mr. Safwan, right? So, as a market leader in the property industry, so as UM Sunrise is a very well-known institution in the industry, what are your goals in implementing digital transformation? As we all know, UM Sunrise is basically at the forefront of adopting digital transformation technologies. So my concern is, what is your primary aim in going digital? And what are some of the immediate results that you want to see in going for a digital transformation?
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for introductions, as well as organizing as well as the Panelist teams, as well as the rest on the AM and here. In a way, in terms of UM Sunrise digital aim, on the overall objective, mainly to promote innovations, as well as we try to optimize the operations, as well as we also want to enhance the customer experience. So, in the front of the promoting innovations, as well as optimize the operational. So we try to streamline the process flow in terms of by leveraging on the technical. So how we use that digital transformations has been doing well to promote the use of the digital touchpoints, cloud-based technologies, as well as ERPs. So what we do here, we try to promote efficiency in terms of our design and process, planning process. So improve more collaborations with the contractors. So by doing this, we are more transparent, so we can detect more, delay much faster, and we can be more proactive. So on the enhancing customer experience, so basically, as just to say that we try to enhance the customer experience in terms of digital home purchase. So last month we have launched Home Click. It's an online platform. It's an end-to-end digital ownership program that the customer with a single platform that can get secure home financing. Which the approval can be minutes, because we have a collaboration with Payback. So in handset, what we try to see here, what the ultimate here, we try to say that it's a competitive market, especially in the property development. So in this area, we try to promote, we try to be ahead, we adopting to the technical advancements. So that what we can provide to the customer, the decision is more informed data analysis as well as customer centric.
Right, okay, so basically what you're trying to do here, would you say is basically in adopting digital transformation, what are you looking at to ensure that you are complying with government regulations and also minimizing the risks in your business?
Yeah. Okay. As my perspective as financial controller, my focus is always on the compliance, efficiency, as well as robust financial reporting. So, as you're aware, now we are more active in building the integration with the tax authority. Case in hand is actually the e-invoicing system that I think, as you may aware, that all companies with revenue more than 100 million need to be on board. So I think we work closely. I think our digital provider here is actually IFCA. So we have managed successfully on board 8 companies. And as you're aware, next year is another. So on the finance also, we also, as you're aware, we try to increase efficiency in the reporting. We try to make sure that the senior management get the reports much earlier, especially the key metrics. For example, revenue, sales, project performance, cost variance, as well as profitability. So by leveraging the digital front, be it the touch point and ERP, we managed to close down is we can streamline the process of closing, and we can allocate our resources to more strategic financial management. So that's the benefit of more going digital for us.
See, thank you, Mr. Sawan. So it seems like leveraging digital technologies really increase the efficiency of the company, right? There are lots of aspects, right? I would like to bring this to Ms. Lim, right? Looking at how digital technology provides all these benefits, right? From your perspective as a tax, strategy, and compliance expert, how does going digital or automating business process, right, promote growth in the company?
Okay, nowadays in the modern era, digitalization is very important. It creates efficiency. As you can see now, even like human labor, not so consistent. The younger generation, they have a different mindset. I think with technology, it really helps a lot in terms of seamless operation, accuracy, in terms of reporting, decision making, in terms of pricing, in terms of budgeting, in terms of cash flow, many aspects. But last for all is in terms of compliance. You get accurate figures, you get right decision, business growth, profit increase, and you report your tax appropriately, correctly, without any mistake. So this would definitely help, especially the key person, to focus more on strategic and business growth decision rather than managing operations.
Right, thank you. So while we are looking at all these potential, right, digital transformation bring to us in terms of growth, in your opinion, what are some of the key risks that we should also look at while we are embracing digital technology?
Sorry.
What are some key risks, some business risks that we should look at and handle?
Yeah, so definitely the risk is you reduce the risk of inaccurate data. Yeah, you reduce the risk of being non-compliance due to inaccurate data, as well as operational risks. Yeah, in terms of getting reports, follow-ups, your claims. So definitely it will minimize many area risks, not only on compliance risks, operational risks, as well as business growth risks. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So one of the risks that construction companies often face, another one is actually on disputes, right? So as we all know, the lack of proper documentation is a risk that a lot of small and medium companies they face, and this will actually bring a lot of hiccups when companies actually go for dispute resolution, right? So for this question, I'd like to target on Severe Wong, who is the expert here. So in your opinion, right, what are some situations where, in your experience, what are some situations where poor documentation actually led to a very poor management of dispute resolution? And how do you think by going digital we can mitigate this risk of documentation?
Okay, thank you. So basically, I also coming from the main contractor, especially contractor background. So I can feel how the contractor team, project team or contract team, to really able to assess or get good records for time and cost related things, right? So with the proper records keeping via the digitalization, we were able to actually easy to treat, especially when dispute arises or you are putting a contractual claims. So based on my experience and observation as a consultant or dispute resolver or as expert witness, so more often than not, basically the contractor or my client's team actually really want to put effort to justify the things, but the problem is lacking of records, lacking of proper records, right? So although there are some success cases, some with the limitation of records, so will still able to get some compensation, but it's really, I would say, is not really satisfied. So then, how to able to win that particular claims? So still all depends on records, right? So then, what type of records? This morning I have watched the Miss Lee presentation in terms of IFRA ERP software system. So basically, those important records such as minutes of meeting, site diaries, so and all those justification of content claim, right? So PO. So all these records sometimes the contractor team may not really able to put what we call contemporary records. So we're not able to really properly record on the material type. So that all these record, if the contractor may not able to justify and substantiate, then really will reduce the chances of entitlement of claim, and furthermore will also eat their profit. So especially EOD and loss and small claim, for example.
Right, so it is quite obvious that a lack of proper documentation can actually lose you money. It might not look like a risk now, but when you go further, as I say, if issues happen, we are trying to justify your claim as a payroll, so you are trying to claim what is rightfully yours. But due to the lack of documentation, you are not able to claim the money. So this actually translates to financial losses for your business, right? So we have heard from three experts on all the benefits of going digital, right? Of course, there are glaring benefits. But one of the major hurdles in construction industry is we are always slow in adopting new technology, right? Among all of the reasons, one of the major reasons is the cost, right? Always contractors will say, why should I fork out the extra money when I do not see immediate returns? It's one of the things. So I would like to turn to Surveyor Desmond. So as the representative of IFCA, right, and of course as the expert in this field, what is your opinion for contractors who are trying to go digital, and what are the problems that usually faced by these contractors?
All right, thank you for those questions. Well, I guess what I want to share right here, I think Chuping has already shared most of my content already. I guess we just want to help everyone right here to recap. I guess what Pang has mentioned is very, very interesting. Everyone right here shared. For the past 10 years of experience, right, the most common question that we got from all the bosses right here, they say, oh, how do you justify my investment? You know, how do you explain on my ROI? That's what we usually get the most. But if let's just say we dissect this question back to all the way down to two components, right? You basically only two answers you need to answer to yourself. What do you actually want at the end of the day? And what are the things that you try to digitalize? So a lot of bosses, when they say, oh, I don't know how to justify my own ROI, it's because they probably do not know how to measure success. Yeah, I guess that is the biggest. Hello. I guess that is the biggest challenge that we have for contractors when they actually thinking whether do we really want to go for digitalization or not. So my two cents right here, standing from IFCA or standing in front of digital expert, then we will actually say, before you make a commitment, then think through what are the things you want to digitalize and what are the outcomes you want to achieve. Then you have a solid answer to yourself. Is it really worth my money, and how do I justify my own investment? That's my two cents. And second thing right here, I think most of the bosses right here were also worried about the adaptability of the entire organization. Going digital sounds very fancy. People say, yay, we go digital. Organization that say, yes, we might go digital. But the thing right here, the reality right here is the moment you sign up the package or the moment you sign up the proposal, right, basically the whole organization is going for digital. So the approach that we're going to use, the style of the management, whether you want to show by example, whether you want to motivate your staff, whether you want to push your staff to use it, it all comes in the picture of the change management. And we're not only changing the way your people work in the office, but we're also changing the way your people from the side they are working. So when it comes to shopping for a solution, choosing for a solution, we also have to make sure the people that you're choosing, the partner that you're choosing, actually knows the process very well. So I think this is the challenges that we're facing.
Right, thank you so much, Desmond, for the input.
Thank you.
Right, so we have a few possible challenges that contractors usually face, right? Especially in selecting a partner, because we have a few competing solutions around the market, right? So how do you know which solution and which platform that you should opt for, right? So I would like to seek the opinion of Mr. Safwan, right? Because I believe through your experience in UAM, UAM Sunrise, being a pioneer in digital transformation, what is your view on how do we overcome all these challenges, and how do you make a decision, for example, when coming to selecting a partner? So what are the thought process they went through? Perhaps you can help the contractors in making a decision.
Based on the challenges.
Challenges on basically going digital, and some decision making like selecting.
Sure. Okay. What I can summarize? Yes, digital transformation is costly as well as it's a big scale impact to the whole company. So key area that we need to do here is effective communications as well as setting clear goal setting, so that we can manage the whole digital transformation well. And then big case in point is that we need to make sure that we get the support from the senior management, because with the senior management endorsement, we can make sure that the whole organization, be the staff across the company, will align with the support. So come back to the communications at UAM Sunrise, we always do digital, always do the clinics as well workshop, to make sure that we can pull the whole people there, be it in the operations as well as support. Because as you're aware, digital always the one who drive it, but the one who is the key is the users, which is the operations. But they are bordered with their day-to-day job. So in this case, that after if we do the clinics and workshops, we can gather. We can establish a two-way communications. We can set the clear goals for what every stage, as well as we can gather the feedback from the users, and we can change the approach as we need to. So yes, I mentioned it's a big scale, means that it's a long-term project. So once you set each clear goal for at each stage, so we can build more momentum and towards the progress to completions. Then that I mentioned before is getting the support from the senior management. We need to report them more frequent, so we need to have a strong governance. Frequent reporting, always discuss, make a decision in the steering committee, so that we can make sure that the project on track. So, and then come to the point that how we see the selecting digital partners. Okay, might be during I'm not that long in this line, but if we recall back those 90s or 2000s, we normally we will accept the available solutions to meet our needs, right? But now I think at UAM Sunrise we have grown. Then we have established the best practice. We have enhanced standard operating procedure, which is currently the success where are we now. So among reasons that we have more experience. So in terms of selecting the right digital partners, we look at their digital first. Three criteria we look over. One is how's their industry expertise, then the technological capabilities in terms of support, especially, as well as their track record, whether they are proven in terms of managing the implementation with other companies. So as along the road that we can see that lots of both local and global financial provider, digital provider has been gathered many content that suit the nation industry, rather than we take everything from the global source. So, but case in hand, actually, there's the area that I see that the digital front set mentioned is more like forecasting forecasting as well as financial modeling, we still use system which is Excel. It's something that the financial details provider may do over there. Okay.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Alpha. I think you have provided a very objective list for contractors to consider, as well as a very good business opportunity for software platforms to look into this area. Right? I would like to turn to Survey Wong X. Right? In your opinion, say contractors go for digital transformation, they adopt a digital platform. What benefits do you think by adopting digital platforms? What are the benefits that it will bring to dispute resolution? How will it help contractors in this area?
As a dispute resolver, right, arbitrator or mediator, adjudicator. So basically, when the parties present their submission, or based on reports, so then because we have one concept, a legal concept called the burden of proof, will be discharged by the claimant or the party who assert their rights. So then, in order for the claimant or respondent to justify their entitlement, so all depends on records. So, and if they, just my observation, I'm not an expert in digitalization or ERP platform. So, but if the parties adopted a digital platform, so maybe a proper ERP system, cloud system to retrieve data or documents. This actually I find would be very efficient, effective when want to substantiate the contemporary records or justification of their grounds. Right? Otherwise, will be based on conventional method. I find it's still okay, but it will take longer time to justify the entitlement of their grounds. So, of course, although I'm being a dispute resolver, but I'm still supporting the ideas of dispute avoidance, okay, to avoid dispute in the first place. Of course, may use the digital platform or proper documentary records process to actually enhance the record keeping, or need to properly write letter correspondences so that to comply with the contractual procedure and requirements. And I think majority of you will be contractors as well. So you may know that the PAN contract 2018 actually already recognized or already provided that the mode of service of documents, which electronics transmittal document being recognized. So although nowadays still have many parties submitting their WhatsApp communications, email communications, then whether these records of evidence carry weight, substantial weights to justify their issue. Although based on my observation, basically actually may carry weight, depends on whether accepted by the dispute resolver or the judge. However, because in the modern world, so all this WhatsApp communication sometimes may carry weight to justify the party's claim. Okay? Yeah, that's right. Observation. Thanks.
Thank you for this as well. So, in short, basically adopting digital platforms, right, can actually help you save money. If we are looking at the dispute avoidance stage without going to dispute resolution, you actually stand to not lose money because you are going to spend a lot of cost, a lot of time that you invest into resolving that dispute. That could be avoided in the first place, right? Another way to avoid losing money is to avoid getting penalized by RHEN. Urging issues today is the adoption of e-invoicing, right? Which I believe all of us sitting here are very familiar right now. Phase 1 is well underway. We have phase 2 and phase 3 coming right next year, which will basically apply most of the contractors in the market, right? So we would like to discuss about invoicing, which I believe Ms. Lee will be the right person for it. So statistics shows that as of October 2024, surprisingly, we are seeing 20% of voluntary e-invoicing, which are from the companies categorized within phase 2 and phase 3. So we are actually seeing voluntary involvement. So in your opinion, right, what are the benefits of voluntary invoicing, and what do you think motivates these companies to voluntarily be involved?
As when e-invoicing was introduced, I think it was quite a havoc to everyone, like, wow, all these new things, I get to revamp my system. Last time, revamp because of GST, and they changed to SSD, now they changed to e-invoicing. And I do have clients say that, Mr. whatever you're doing, can you rename the GST mapping? I say it doesn't work that way. System change, system upgrade now. When it started, a lot of us were wondering, can our Lembaga Hasil system support millions of transactions? Everybody was asking that. Well, because it's the big question mark, and they're coming up with the rule that 1st July 2025 onwards, that is where all the businesses have to comply. If you don't obtain a validated tax invoice and you don't comply with certain transactions without the invoice, I will deny a tax reduction. So because of that, a lot of people are very cautious. And it's always when you're starting something new to the unknown territory, it's better to start early. That is why some of them opt for 20% of them opt for voluntary earlier, because they want to test how is it, how bad is situations, so that management can plan exactly what you need to do and what you need to invest, rather than you start later. So that is one of the reasons why I could see why some businesses prefer to start early, so that they can plan early. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So starting early certainly gives you a lot of benefits. Gives you a head start, gives you a lot of space to plan your business ahead, right? So goes back to our construction scenery. In construction, we are always afraid to try something new, right? This is a well-known fact. So one of the key reasons is there's always this perception in the industry that new forefront cutting-edge technologies is only for the big boys. It's only for big players with lots of capital to play around with, right? So how about the SMEs? So I'll then turn to Surveyor Desmond, right? So representing IFCA, what do you think IFCA has to offer? Does IFCA break the traditional perception that it's very expensive and it's a very high barrier to entry to adopt something new?
Well, if you ask me this, I would definitely say worth all the money that we spend. Well, I think we set aside where we're coming from. We're just saying probably all of you right here and then we're definitely looking for software or solutions to improve your business and operations. Now, let me just share a story with you then that I heard from one of my mentors here sitting at the back, Engineer Yo. There's one day I called him up and saying, hey, Mr. Yo, what does boss really want, Then he actually told me and say, what I want is only to match all the money I spend, then will be able to cover all the money I collect from my client is enough to pay for all my money that I spend on the project. So for so many years, then we're trying to implement solutions for software for contractors, developers from the background of quantity surveyor. We always thought that having PQ is good enough. So because our claims, our certifications, and even our subcon payment is actually done based on PQ. But what we really don't know is that there's something called work breakdown structure, which is practiced by most of the project management side. Now, the gap in between your site and also the claim in between you as a contractor and the client, right? Then the thing that fill out the gap is actually something called work breakdown structure. So if you link back to what Surveyor has shared just now, right, is that in order for you to keep track of all your documentations and even to do fundamental analysis on something like delay or to avoid delay, then it is safer if you look at the breakdown structure. So if you take a look at the solutions that we have in the market to manage your construction, then you must be able to look at something that will be able to link all the payment collections and all the payments that you need based on the work breakdown structure. This is the fundamental thing right here. So it's on the functionality of what IFCA contract has got to offer. But like we mentioned just now, sometimes having a system in place, you also have to make sure your people know how to use and you actually achieve your business objective out from the software itself. So implementation again is also a huge thing we're going to talk about. In our team, then we have consultants that made up by our colleagues back there. They have actually experience in construction. So what we will do is to sit down with you together with your virtual teams, not only to understand your current flow, but we will also suggest the improved flow to be in place in the system itself. So along the process, right, we're not talking about changing the way you do your business overnight. We're actually using it as a mechanism and also as a strategy to get the buy-ins and also the commitment from the virtual teams. So we're sort of managing the frictions along the way. Because at the end of the day, we're going to, our ultimate goal is to ensure you have a successful implementations of digital solutions. I guess when we have this functionality and implementation set, right, then we'll be able to align with the boss's objective. Then they will be able to link back to your return on investment.
Right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So one of the perks of having a digital platform, especially when it's shared among different key stakeholders. For example, the same platform is being used between the main con and sub-con and developer. So one of the perks, I would say downside, depending on how you see it, is transparency. So one of the things is you're actually showing the sub-con and the contractor, and as the main con, you're showing the sub-con and the developer basically your accounts, basically how you manage transactions, right? So, Sophia Wong, how do you think, given the current industry culture, right, how will contractors accept this kind of transparency? Because it is obviously very different from our traditional method, where we all work in silos and there's no sharing of information. So now with the advent of e-invoicing, we are somehow forced to share all these common documents with each other. So how do you think the industry will take this kind of change?
Based on my observation, I think nowadays the main contractors or subcontractors or SME not really concerned about the margin in terms of transparency, because I think the margin today will be very low. So I think they also don't want to let the team member to know, right? But the important is what? Initially, maybe just conservatively, maybe 5 to 10% profit margin, if you're very lucky. However, the one is during the estimate stage. But when you secure a project, of course, after all the so-called proper negotiation, so eventually you secure that particular project. Then eventually you want to start to build up the new budget for that particular project, for the project team to execute and implement what we call as the post-contract stage. But the problem is the contract administration stage coming in. If the project team not really properly manage that particular project, of course, nowadays you may want option to invest this our digital platform. Otherwise, actually, we already live with the so-called digital software or any tools actually assist us on planning the project. But however, when initially always the project will start with good relationship with the client and consultants, but when come to certain stage, circumstances, we will have argument. Then we will have dispute arise and all because of the time issue. Then at the stage, you will have one very love letter coming in, maybe CNC or LT coming in. So how to mitigate that particular risk all depends on whether you have properly comply to contract procedure. So eventually, you are not talking about profit anymore, because if you don't have any proper records to justify your claim and time claim, so then not even talk about loss and expense, because loss and expense claim is based on actual cost, actual expenses records. Just now, basically will share all the expenses, need to retrieve from the finance department, other function department, and to justify your claim. So eventually, when the LD kicks in, right, I think the value actually lesser than the investment lesser. In the value that you will get the LD actually much higher than the investment of processors or digital platform. So then the not talking about profit anymore. Actually, if with the proper contract management, the project management, and processors with properly record justification may able to maintain good project cost, then slightly be able to achieve some relative profit. Of course, the most important is still reputation. So I find nowadays with the proper ERP system, of course, my observation, no against anyone. So the ERP system still can be improved, especially on the contract management side, because it's not easy. Otherwise, I also out of business. But anyway, the important back to the important point of contemporary record, because must follow contract procedure. Because nowadays you also can notice that many CIPA cases, arbitration cases keep increasing. Although with CIPA in place, also with court, construction court, nowadays construction court also very busy. So then eventually, so the objective of the justification of record is to actually try to mitigate the contractual risk, right? To leverage the opportunity in terms of the contractual rights. Of course, employer actually also have the right to seek compensation from the contractor if the contractor are able to perform. So actually, I think the contracting parties also, both parties also need to have a good record to juggle their contractual risks and opportunities.
Thank you, Sudhir. Sudhir has given a very compelling reason to basically using and leveraging all these digital technologies to keep a very good record, right? He has also mentioned ERP. So ERP is actually a very common way to implement invoicing, right? And I have a question for Ms. Lim, right? So based on your expertise, right, how does ERP solutions specifically, how do they enhance compliance, and also how do they enhance profitability for contractors?
Well, if you have ERP system, your transactions, transmission of data will be more seamless. Yeah, it actually leads to more accuracy. Okay. Now we talked about just now digitalization. This is very important. Right? Those days you used to keep record hard copy. You need to store them. I've seen through my previous experience as an IO last time, I had some taxpayer who come in and say, no document, lost document, flood, fire. Even though have also boxes and boxes and boxes, to be very honest, nobody going to trace. You know, the boxes are there. Who's going to retrieve all the documents? Digitalization helps a lot in terms of document management. Document management at least. I know for those who are in like maybe Gen X, baby boomers era, still very much want to review document hard copy. Yes, in a way, when document is voluminous, you review copy in hard copy. But when you store data, it's impossible to retrieve. It's very challenging to retrieve hard copy. Because you want a very specific. Nowadays, with the new gen, I work with like so many people. The new generations, they like soft copy a lot. In fact, now they have like 2-3 monitors in front of their tables. It actually replaces the hard copy way of reviewing, referencing things. And at the same time, it's so easy to record documents. In fact, when you're dealing with lembaga hasil accept electronic documents. They prefer electronic documents. In fact, with electronic documents, it helps them to process the data analytic information that what is needed. This is very important. Definitely, the ERP systems, it will reduce your business risk. It will enhance compliance in terms of e-invoicing. Okay, data transmission will be very smooth. Okay.
Thank you. So it boils down to basically adopting ERP to ensure you have a very good documentation, right? Which will help a lot of aspects, right? So it's obvious that adopting e-invoicing is not something that you do in silo. You have to start, it's actually part of the process, right? So for Sylvain Esmond, I have a question for you. In your opinion, where should contractors start? Because we cannot just jump yes e-invoicing, right? So where should contractors start to make changes to how to run their business?
Thank you for your questions. I think coming from also the experience where we implement software across so many departments, and my friends are there, they're from accounting department. I think usually accounting departments are a bit yunwang, I would say. They're a bit, I would say they're a bit tired. Usually they're in the blame if your project is not making money. Right now. And previously, some of the events that were in, they were usually asked the audience to say, who is actually responsible if your projects are not making money? You see, the construction project is so unique in the sense that basically we are taking care of a lot of departments, and each of the departments are in charge of your profit. Because profit, the components of profit is served as for your revenue and your cost. So coming from the background of QS, and when we manage contracts, so we taking money from our client side. So that's where a contract manager is doing. But then again, when we're talking about contract, then yes, contract manager is also taking care of the subcontract. But then again, your procurement is taking care of all the payments to your suppliers. So we are actually flowing information to the accounting department to actually consolidating the report to show the boss and saying, hey boss, the project is not making money. Then they got a first-hand of the loss. Now, coming back to Surveyor's question is now, when do we actually need to start to look into taking care of a profit, right? Then we should actually start to look into it from contract management as soon as the moment that you got the LA, then as well as the moment that you start to do your first purchasing. So that's where you can actually start to consolidate all of your proving or expenses. Then, because now we also observe, right, in Malaysian construction industry, we start to see a lot of contractors now, they are actually entering the contract with calling cost-plus contract with clients. So when you are actually in a cost-plus contract with the clients, right, then the client's CFO or client's head of procurement or their HODs can actually step into validating all of the expenses. So in time to what Ms. Ling and also Surveyor want to say just now, everything that you spend, you have to keep a contemporary record, so that you will be paid accordingly. So that's where you take care of your own profit, not only in getting the money, but you also have to make sure the money that you spend has been reimbursed properly. So that's my 2 cents. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So the internal processes, right, is very important when we are trying to go digital, right? Right. So we're actually nearing the end of our panel discussion. But before we end, I have a final question for Mrs. Saffron. So we'll be discussing what the contractor should do within their firm in order to leverage digital, right? But I'm actually more interested in what is the effect externally. So, in your experience at William Sunrise, right? How does going digital or embracing digital technologies, right? How does it help the client-contractor relationship? How does it improve, let's say, a communication, or how does it change the way you communicate with the contractors?
Yeah. Thanks. What I can highlight here is that mostly is highlighted by other panels in terms of, but I will go on the ground of hobby developer. We have our peer also. We also have contractor here and consultants. What I may highlight here is that, as obvious, increased efficiency, more transparent, meaning that we can work more proactively. If we detect if we have a better two-way communications, then we can come up with a solution much faster, and then we can make sure that the project progress on track. So I think what Senior Wong said that we can manage this much earlier rather than we wait for another reports, another 3 months. That's something that we should put into our mind, that we manage it, and then to some interesting point that this may also improve our 2 things, cash flow as well as profit, because now it's in the quite competitive market here. It's not only for the property developer, it's also now also I believe to the contractor, material costs, price all increasing, even the labor costs, even the impact of forex, as recently we know earlier of the year. So all these costs actually, if we manage well in terms of overall project management via the digital bit, it may reflect to better margins and better cash flow. As you, but I also interested that if this might be not the case, it's the link that highlighted on there's a more like voluntary e-invoicing. But at this juncture, as you're aware, under the we still orthodox. We still need hard copy documents for us to get money from the bank, for example, right? in terms of getting the bridging loan. So, as you're aware, we need to make sure that the invoice claim also must be claimable, deductible at the property developer side. That's one reason that investment at the contractor on the invoicing date now rather than wait for stage 2 or stage 3 will help in terms of managing relationship. And then, but the disadvantage, the challenges, right? Okay, it's more to my project sites. Yeah, there's still like certain players in the contract, in the constructions, they remain with big drawings and hard copy long reports. So sometimes there is some errors in the input. That's why sometimes it make quite misrepresentative. Sometimes that's why we need some nature of this kind of culture. So to embrace this digital culture. So I hope that is investment both side from the so-called property developer as well as the consultants and contractors. We move along. As you're aware, now even invoicing also push us to go to this kind of line. Yes, thank you.
Right, thank you, Sapan. So basically, going digital certainly brings benefits to the commercial relationships and actually promotes a kind of a cooperative scene, right, between different parties. Right, so we are no longer as adversarial as what we used to be, hopefully. So we are at the end of our panel session. Again, thank you to Mr. Sapan, to the work, Ms. Lim, and to the investment. And from all these different perspectives that we have today, I hope it has been a beneficial 1 hour for everyone, where everyone's sitting in. Right? So we all have something to add.
So basically, nothing is perfect, right? So digitalization or conventional way is fine, so long to suit the respective company culture. Of course, digitalization really will able to provide a good platform to actually eliminate some of we call some processes. And also many employee or people are concerned because of the digitalization in our job. To my observation, I find digital platform actually can leverage, and basically we still able to have the same resources to focus on some important areas. Then let the digital platform to actually assist the enterprise to run on some of the repeat processes or some of the important areas as well. However, yesterday I had a discussion with my client about work program. Work programs actually already nowadays digitalized with certain software platform, or when accounting software can also assist in the financial things. But whether all this digital platform with the proper entry of data or not, otherwise will be garbage in, garbage out. And eventually, the interpretation of the data also very important. So, for example, work program, whether the persons or the team member who interpret that particular work program becomes whether all the important, to me I find 3 M's, materials, machinery, equipment, or manpower. Whether all this program, the interpreter able to see all this issue or opportunity or risk of program. Then eventually all this will link to the related or respective contractual claims. Then also able to really mitigate the contractual risk or losses or opportunity. So then with the digital platform, or of course still need the conventional way to manually manage all this information, then hopefully we will be able to reduce the enterprise risk and leverage the opportunity. This is my observation.
So it boils down to the user itself and how we use it and how we interpret the data platform. Right? Thank you, Suvir Wong. So with that, this will be the end of our panel session.